Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a lineup of gins, and you know what? I've been a little backlogged on gins, so I decided, you know what, let's throw this lineup together. Some of which I have tasted before, others like this one and this one I have not tasted. These are coming from recommendations from friends, so I decided, you know what, let's put this lineup together. So let's introduce the players. Ballykeefe Irish Gin. This is from a potato distillate using some of their own botanicals from the region. I want to say this one says, yeah, 12 different botanicals that go into that. Italian copper pot still, so it's going to be very viscous and oily. Let's see. Yep, but that's what goes into that one. Alkkemist Gin. This is out of Spain. Now, the Alkkemist Gin, they're doing this thing where they distill only 12 times a year when the moon is at its biggest because, again, alchemy, right? So they're trying to go along with that. They say that it's a grain alcohol, 3 times distilled, traditional copper alembic stills, quadruple distillation from which only the hearts are used, and it says they use 21 botanicals in it, and the most unique one being the muscat grape. And they're using that as almost like a late addition to the distillation to hopefully, I guess, come through. So that's what they're doing. They're unique. Isle of Harris Gin, a Scottish gin. This one, oh, I should mention, price points. Ballykeefe 35, Alkkemist about 40, 45. Isle of Harris here is about 45, 50, somewhere in there. But we are jumping up in proof because both the Alkkemist and the Ballykeefe were 80 proof. Isle of Harris is 90 proof. So it goes up to about $55, $50 price point for this one. And the unique one here, if I remember correctly, was a sea kelp from their island there, Hebrides. So the sea kelp is a unique botanical. Of course, again, they're using all the traditional gin botanicals. Now, out of Brookline, we have the rested Botanist. So this goes into the Isla casks for 6 months, I believe. Yep. 22 foraged island botanicals rested in those Isla casks, Brookline casks for 6 months. 92 proof. Price point on it's going to be about $55 as well. Then we go into the Hendrick's. Now, the Hendrick's has been doing this limited release thing for a while. And they call it their Cabinet of Curiosities. This is actually, when you read the back, it talks about how, what's it say? It's inspired by a 17th century fruit-based libation known for its odd tendency to show up at the liveliest of parties. It's a limited release crafted in the sense of untamed exuberance and poetry. Let's see. Yep, it's supposed to be decadent stone fruits and herbs, sweet herbs. Supposedly goes great with tonic and a cucumber slice. Okay. But I had heard from a friend that this one was really good, so I went ahead and picked that one up. Price point on the Hendrick's, $42, right there, 42. And lastly, when we were in Albuquerque, I stopped by Los Poblanos, which is a really nice kind of a hotel and little resort, but they grow a lot of lavender there. So they do a lot of things with lavender. They happen to have this lavender gin, which has a bunch of gin botanicals, but also 4 different types of lavender that go into it. Price point at about $45. It's 88 proof. All right, so I'm going to start basically on this end because these are going to be the ones that are more straightforward. When you talk about London Dries and that type thing, these are probably going to fit that bill. And then we'll go into the rested, which is going to be more of like a, I'm guessing like an Old Tom style, but maybe without all the sugar added. And then we'll go into the more, I'm guessing, more floral, fruity, going into the Hendrick's and into the Los Poblanos. All right, 80 proof, Ballykeefe Gin, pot distilled Irish. Oh, my goodness, citrus. This is a wild one right here. I love this one. Not only is it's not super leaning on the juniper, but it is in here. But lots of citrus as well, both lemon and lime. Cumin, which is a unique essence to pick up in here. And it may not be cumin that they're putting in it, but That's exactly what that reminds me of. Wow. Yeah, just super citrus forward. And a little floral in the back end. A little floral picking up to go along with all that citrus zest. Let's go ahead and taste it. 80 proof. Price point $35. Wow. Yeah, that's great. That is good viscosity, medium high viscosity. It's rich and flavorful. It stays in the good gin box that you kind of want it to normally. When you're thinking London Dry, that stays right in there. It's just not so super juniper heavy. So if you're one of those people that is like, I don't like gin because it's too much of that pine juniper type element, this is going to fit that bill. Definitely more citrus forward. That potato starchy distillate just probably lends a little more to that kind of creamy mouthfeel. This has that. Of course, again, copper pot stills will do that as well, so it's get that double dose there. Super clean. There's no, that ethanol when it gets a little high, and they're using a cheap, grain distillate. Sometimes you'll pick up that little rubbing alcohol taste. None of that in that. That's fantastic. The only thing that runs on it for a long time is the citrus. So to me, if you're making some kind of gin martini, that's going to be fantastic. All right, now for the Alkkemist. Let me do a double rinse all that citrus. Out of Spain, using that Muscat grape as the unique botanical. Yeah, I would say this one isn't as gin, profile that you typically would be used to either. That grape aspect is definitely in here. But hardly any juniper. I mean, hardly any juniper on the nose. I pick up cardamom. A little bit of citrus, like a little lime zest. Maybe a little dried orange peel in there. That's about it. Let's taste it. Super cool. Wow. Very fruity. But again, it's all in that grape spectrum. There is juniper in there. You do pick it up now when I'm tasting it. But definitely grape is the dominant note here. Grape, a little bit of like a orange oil in there, and then it goes into like that fruity floral combination hybrid thing that gets on the back end. Almost like what would I call that one? Maybe a little touch of almost like a honeysuckle hibiscus thing rolling in there on the back end, but not super heavy. It's not heavy-handed. It's fruit and floral, a little bit of juniper in there, a touch of citrus. Mint, definitely some mint, and it's spearmint, like a vanilla spearmint. Super unique. So if you're a person that doesn't like typical London dries, you don't like it just being again so juniper heavy, this is even going to be more nuanced and more unique than even the Ballykeefe. Ballykeefe is very clean, pure, really nice, light on the juniper comparatively, but this one, definitely not in that juniper heavy vein. At 80 proof, lots of flavor. Again, zero flaws as far as having any kind of rubbing alcohol. Yeah. Those are two great ones. All right, Isle of Harris, 90 proof. All right, we're jumping up from 80 proof to 90 proof here. They're using the island sea kelp in their botanicals as well. Wow, yes. This one, oof. Really nice. Again, this one reminds me more into what, again, typically would think of a London dry style. When I smell this one, that's what I pick up. You get the cardamom, you get the juniper, you get those dried orange peels, the lemon, those different root type herbaceous tones are in here. Yeah, for sure, that's in there. And let's taste it. Man, that's fantastic. That's why I named that my gin of the year last year, because it does hit you like that. You taste it and it's big because it is 90 proof, so it's impactful, but then second it hits your palate, it relaxes and it just gives you all that flavor and that citrus. Here we go. Juniper, tarragon, maybe even a little thyme in there, pushing up front. Sweet though, so you get a little sweetness to all that. The citrus, lemon, lime, a lot of equal 50-50 on that. Little bit of like almost a little tangerine zest in there. As far as the sea kelp, I'm not picking up a lot of saltiness or brininess that maybe you would attribute to something like that. So whatever that does to it, maybe it adds to that creamy viscosity that it's picking up. But super clean, just dense gin characteristic, a little juniper, but it's in balance, it's not heavy-handed. That's so well-rounded. Yeah, that's why that was gin of the year. Delicious. $50, maybe even $55. It's definitely worth adding. I would say that about pretty much all those. They're definitely unique and they're going to have their place, but they're not the same. Wow. Got a double rinse on this one. Okay. Isle of Harris. Sorry, that was Isle of Harris. Now we're on to Bruichlotti's, the Rested Botanist. Nice. This one has... Okay, now this one's a little more unique here because you're picking up a little wisp of the smoke and the brine. Stands to reason because it's in Isla cask there on Bruichlotti on Isla. Yeah, I pick up there's light juniper. Everything's a little more subtle here, even though it's 92 proof, so it's even 2 points higher than the 90 proof Isla Harris. But that time in the cask is giving things, the botanicals, time to kind of soften and kind of intermingle, intertwine. Not super bright on the lemon lime. There is, again, orange citrus in it. And different dried herbs is how I would call this one. But let's taste it. I love that little, there's a little bit of that smoky, briny characteristic to it. All right. Ooh, it's beautiful. Sweetness coming off those wood sugars is in here. Wow, cedar and oak. Sweet and peat, right? Sweet and light smoke. And again, if you're not one of these people, I don't like Isla, I don't like peated whiskeys. It's not like that. You're not gonna pick it up like, oh, that's that peat that I can't stand. No, what you'll pick up here is almost like a little campfire, light campfire smoke off in the distance, and then you get that sweet kind of, I don't know if it's a malty characteristic in it. I guess it should be because it's coming out of those Bruichlotti casks. So you pick that up, lightly buttery. And then you get into those light botanicals, but again, everybody's just so well balanced. You get the gin, the juniper, you'll get the cardamom, you'll get the kind of dried herbs. There's roots in here, root bark type elements. Talk about orris root. But I love that the barrel time has given this even cedar. And I don't know if it's a combination of just the botanicals that are in it, in with the oak, that creates that nuance of like a cedar. But you'll definitely taste it. And I love the sweetness factor, those wood sugars. It's not artificial. It's not saccharine. It's just a little sweeter than everybody else here. But nothing that's going to interfere in a cocktail. That's, yeah. $50 for that one. That should be, to me, in everybody's cabinet. Because nothing else is really like that. These two. They both got named in my video, the best of 2024. This was a runner-up. It was a close call. Okay. Let me get my glasses. Make sure I'm not missing anything on it. Grand Cabaret. Yep. Gin with natural flavors, distilled in bottles of Scotland. It's supposed to be fruit and floral. All right. Let's see. Golly, are you kidding me? What's going on? Oh, wow. That is, yeah, that's not like any of these. This is more in that spectrum of like Monkey 47, where it was super dense with the fruit and floral. Super compact, meaning just a little went a long way, right? And people didn't make like drinks with Monkey 47. It was always just a dash of it, right? That's how I feel about this one. So much grape. And I mean purple grape Kool-Aid. Golly. And then the floral aspect. It's like a grape Kool-Aid. Everything goes into artificial here. Even though it's natural flavors. They've done a great job, but it just reminds me of like Sour Patch Kids and grape Kool-Aid. Wow. A little fruit punch. Like, and the thing you haven't heard me say is anything traditional in gin. So I don't get like a juniper or any of those cardamom or any of those notes that you would expect. Let's taste this. Thing's wild. .8 proof. It's nice. It's enjoyable. It's different. To me, this one and this one are going to be like, hey, I don't really like gin. Okay, we'll try these. These aren't going to taste like gin, what we think of traditionally. That tastes exactly like I said. Kind of like gummy worms and grape Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's not a gin like what I think of when I think of gin. Is that gonna make a cocktail? Are you gonna make a martini with that? No, just like Monkey 47. Yeah, you're not gonna make it with that. You would add just a few drops of it, just a little quarter ounce of it, to another gin. But I will say it's not artificially sweet. Even though it has those kind of Kool-Aid and the gummy worm, taste it and you're going to get those two things. Fruit punch, grape Kool-Aid, and gummy worms. But it's not artificially sweet, so you're not getting this cloyingly sweetness. It's just the flavors of those. Bang, right there. Not a lot of citrus. That floral that's in there is kind of like, it leans more on the fruit. Those fruit tones than it does really any kind of floral. Honeysuckle, that would be as far as I'd go on that one. Wow, yeah, that might have been neat. I thought the lavender, this gin at the very end, because I just opened that one too, I thought that should be at the end because of how I'm thinking lavender is going to be very potent. I think that might have needed to be at the end. Luckily, it's coming off the palate pretty easily with the water. Good grief. Let's try 4. Okay. If there's anything going to cover it up, maybe it's lavender. All right. Los Poblanos. Boom. There you go. $45. Wow. This thing's dense. This is wild. This is New Mexico right here in a bottle. Because not only are you getting that lavender fields that they grow there, but ancho chilies, dried peppers, poblanos. I know they have dried peppers in here. You can smell them. Sage, coriander, that kind of like that cumin that I was picking up earlier. There's a little bit of that in here. I actually really, really like this one. All right, 88 proof, $45 price point. If you're in Albuquerque, definitely stop by here. Go by that Native American Cultural Center. That was awesome as well. But here we go, back to the gin. Let's taste it. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. It's got all that. Oh, man, I love that gin. It's not London Dry style, all right? Let's go ahead and just say these are not London Dry. Like, you're not going to get that essence at all. These are, with different amounts of it, right? This huge impact, a little sweeter, a little more nuanced with the cedar. This one, fantastic. Well-rounded. That's why this one, I don't think I ran out of room, but I really wanted to put this in my best of 2024. It's just I can't fit everything, but that could have been easily an honorable mention. This one, you might see it in 2025. It's super unique. Just like I said, those anchos, those dried poblanos, all that kind of natural dried lavender, the coriander, the cumin, that's all in there with a little bit of citrus. Perfect amount of sweetness, middle of the road, nothing artificial. And it takes you through that ride. Sage. Then you get those dried poblano anchos right there on the back end. In with that sage. Like I said, that to me reminds me of, like, that's New Mexico in a glass. That's crazy for a gin. But I love it. Yeah, I really, really like that one. And I can see where you would use a little bit of that in a cocktail and make it super unique. But again, if you're doing traditional, stick here. This one, this is like a Monkey 47 substitute. Like, you get 750 mLs versus the Monkey 47 used to be little half bottles. That's kind of like that. That's going to be real nuanced, and little goes a long way, maybe in a cocktail. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this gin review. It was a little long, but thank you for your patience. Again, if you can, join me over at patreon.com/LiquorHound. That's how I'm able to self-fund all these bottles to review for you. It's with my patron support that I don't need to rely on distilleries to send me bottles or viewers to send me bottles. I go out there, I buy these, and I review them for you. So please join us over there if you can. If not, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Keep leaving all those great comments, and I'll get back to them just as soon as I can. Everyone, have a great day, and cheers.